What up, what up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. How's it going, everybody? It's a very unconventional background, I understand. Uh, My closet has a crack in it. I gotta fix that one of these days. Okay, I just finished binge watching Iron Fist Season 2. 10 hours straight, man. Holy smokes. So I figured like if I wanted to do a review of Iron Fist 2, if I had to like sit down and write that whole thing down again and then do it on a teleprompter kind of style, it's gonna take me a good extra 4 more hours, man. And after 10 hours of watching the show, oh, I'm just gonna give it straight up for you guys, okay? One take, no edits, no jump cuts, no prompter crap. So just so we can get this out of the way, get it done, and get it over with. Um, and by the way, this review contains spoilers, mostly because, ooh, my eyes. um, I'll be recapping some of what happened in the previous season and also kind of describing some of what happens in this season too. So heads up, this review contains spoilers. So this review is mostly going to be beneficial only for those of you, my fellow Iron Fist fans out there. If you have seen season 2, if you have spent 10 hours like I just did. um, yeah, spoiler alert. Okay, so I made some notes here on my screen so I don't forget some things. But if you have any thoughts and comments about it, share them in the comment section below this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Okay. Um, those of you who've seen it, season 1 and season 2, both of them, um, would know that Danny Rand. By this time, we don't have that whole thing with Harold Meacham problem anymore, because Harold Meacham's problem was already taken care of in season 1, and the hand that was kind of, it had control of Harold Meacham in season 1, and then the hand had a bigger influence in the Defenders. Do you remember the Defenders that combines all 4 heroes? Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. So the hand was the big bad villain in that one. So okay, so season 2, there's no more the hand. There's no more Harold Meacham. It starts out with basically Iron Fist trying to find a purpose. He's like, wow, I don't have a villain anymore. that kind of sounds nice for a hero, right? But obviously, there's a power vacuum, and so the Hatchets versus the Tigers trying to take control of the Chinatown. Doing the whole mafia regular shit, shakedowns, protection, racketeering crap. So nothing too mystical. There's no Madame Gao either, and while surprisingly, there's no Claire either. Holy smokes! You would think, because Rosario Dawson's character, the night nurse Claire Temple, she always shows up in all these shows. She's like the one North Star, like the one that always takes care of our heroes whenever they get bloodied and bruised up and beaten down, and she's the one that patches them up. But she doesn't show up in season 2. Not sure why that is, but there is an episode where Iron Fist, I believe it's episodes in this season, in this new season, I believe it's episode 7, where, oh, maybe 5, episode 5, yeah, I want to say episode 5, where he gets beaten up, all bloodied, by Davos, and then he gets stitched up by um, a psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever degree she has. She's a doctor that's sponsoring Ward Meacham's, because Ward Meacham's been attending this AA type meeting headed by her. So she's serving as sort of the Claire Temple of this season 2. So that's an interesting take. I don't know if I would call it refreshing, because I kind of miss Claire Temple. So I guess that's probably one of the few beefs I have about season two. Um, okay, putting that aside, that's what happens in the season, episode one. Basically, power vacuum. All the mafia is trying to take control of the Chinatown. Now, if you're wondering who the big bad villain in this one, um, he actually showed up in season one, I believe, but he gets more prominent, a more prominent role in season two. Um, and his name is Davos. He's played by actor Sasha Dhawan. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. And he's fantastic, man. He's fantastic as the villain. Um, Unlike the Han, where they're very well organized, and they have far wide reaches. Um, they have people in their pockets, sort of thing. Davos, for the most part of this season two, is just pretty much a one man band. But his beef with Danny Rand is that he feels that Iron Fist. He's supposed to be Iron Fist. He feels that Danny Rand stole the Iron Fist title from him. So that's also an aspect that's quite prevalent in season two. You get to see flashbacks of Danny's and Davos's time back at Kunlun. This mystical place that, like a Shaolin temple sort of place. You see them fighting to get this honor. You see them when they were kids, as best friends, as brothers. So that's the hardship of this, the whole drama between Danny and Davos, because you know they're supposed to be brothers, brothers at arms, brothers of Kunlun. But deep down, Davos is like, damn it, you stole what's supposed to be rightfully mine, at least in his head. So I don't, I would not consider it revenge. Uh, it's like a grudge. It's more like a grudge. So it's not like, Danny um, kills, Davos's loved ones, and then Davos kind of gives eye for an eye kind of thing. Well, but it's just a grudge, feeling like, oh man, like one of those stepchilds, little brothers who like, oh, my big brother always gets the attention all the time. That kind of grudge. So Davos conspires with Joy Meacham, who apparently also has a grudge against Danny Rand. I was like, holy crap, what did Danny Rand ever do? But Joy blames Danny pretty much like, ever since Danny arrives, my life turns to shit. My relationship with my dad, what I want to do as a career, stuff like that. She's blaming it all on Danny. So that's her beef. Okay, so that's the gist of the first half of pretty much season two. And then, of course, I'm gonna give spoilers here. The plan that Joy and Davos concocted to hurt Danny eventually kind of worked. In episode 5, as I mentioned earlier, he got hurt pretty badly, and Davos successfully took away the Iron Fist ability, the glowing fist ability, from Danny Rand, took it away, and now and claiming it as his. And what's interesting is that for Davos, his glowing fist is not yellow, but it's red. So the second half of season 2, you see Davos pretty much he feels that he feels like, okay, now that I have this power, this glowing fist, I have to do justice, to be the protector of the city. So that much he believes, but he's one of those people where the power corrupts him. What's that old saying? Absolute power absolutely corrupts. I forgot what the exact saying was. So that's what happens with him. Now here's the thing. Davos, kills the bad guys. That's his deal. And when I was watching the second half of season 2, much of his actions when he kills all those triads reminds me of Frank Castle, the Punisher. Remember, because Frank Castle, the Punisher, he also kills. That's his style. He doesn't, just knock out or beat up the villains and then send the villains to prison. No, that's not his style. He shoots and kills them. So in a way, I kind of see the parallel between Davos and Frank Castle, Punisher. The difference is, Davos lets that power gets to his head. All right. It eventually he even kills innocent people that he somehow thinks they're bad guys. He's like, no, they deserve to be killed. But then I was like, no, they're innocent. So that's the difference between him and Frank Castle, Punisher. And I believe another difference, a big difference, is that Davos is he has an ideology. That's what I was looking for, ideology. Whereas Frank Castle is all about just, righting the wrongs, putting his own brand of justice. But Davos is like, oh, it's a higher purpose. It's my calling. It's my principle. It's my belief that I have to do this, because it's my destiny, fate. Frank Castle doesn't fly that way. So that's also another difference. Davos is driven by ideology, which makes him dangerous. I always believe that people or villains or people who have power and use it to his own advantage, and they're driven by ideology, they're the kind of villains who are the most dangerous villains, as opposed to villains who are driven by money or any other type of motivation. So yeah, I think Davos is a fantastic villain in season 2. Now I remember when season 1 came out last year, there were a lot of people criticizing it, and some of the criticism were valid, some of them not so much. I think it has to do with the storytelling style. I think one critic says, if I remember correctly, about season 1, that it's finally, it's Netflix Marvel's weakest show. It's like, out of all of them, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil. Oh, you would think, so the critics basically saying, hey, you would think that we're gonna have a long streak of success with Marvel Netflix shows, but bam, Iron Fist came out and it sucked, according to him. And I think part of it is also because the showrunner was Scott Buck. He's the same guy who was behind Inhumans series. Inhumans was shitty. Say it with me. Inhumans was shitty. Now, I think the writing in season 2 is a lot better, but a lot slower. The episodes are shorter. There are only 10 episodes. And that's good, because oh my goodness, I just finished 10 hours. So I don't know if I could take 3 more. So that's a good thing. But man, in some of these episodes, even, I don't think there were like filler episodes in the season, but like, for example, episode 6, when Ward and Joy were hashing it out, talking it out inside Danny's and Colleen's apartment. So Joy and Ward got to wait, that whole time, during the nighttime till the morning, and they were talking out. They're unloading their problems to each other. It's like, hey, this is what this is the problem I got with you. This is the beef I have with you. That whole thing was so incredibly slow. And on top of that, episode 7, when they give the backstory for Typhoid Mary Walker, played by Alice Eve, that part was also, in my opinion, is kind of weak, kind of slow, um, it's not. It doesn't, for the length of time that it gives us. This the backstory. It doesn't further explore it enough. I think. Um, Maybe they're saving it for season three. That's my theory. I think they're just teasing us a little bit about Mary Walker in this one, and they're gonna bring her back season three because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Typhoid Mary or Mary Walker in the comic books. I'm not familiar with her character in the comic books, but I think she's a villain. In season two of this one, Iron Fist, she's not the main villain. That's Davos. In this one, she because she has that personal multiple personality thing. So even as Walker, as the bad side of her, even as that, she's still kind of helpful from time to time. Um, Sometimes even kind and nice towards our heroes, Danny and Colin, and sometimes even Joy. Walker has that intimidating persona about her, but she's not Davos. So she can be cruel and vicious if she wants to be. But what's interesting is that in her story about her past, she kind of implies that, hey, it may have been Mary, her other side. When she said that it may have been Mary that did all these things when I was in Sokovia. Not is it Sokovia? I forgot whatever country that she was a soldier in. So it seems that Mary may have been the violent side, not necessarily Walker. So there's something about Alice Eve's character that leaves me hanging. Like, I was like, okay, can we get to know her a little bit more? But don't do it in just this long, dreadful, dragging kind of dialogue style. Let's have it done in another way that's more engaging. So I think that's my only criticism about her and the way the episode 6, and episode 7 played out. Yeah, the whole thing between Ward and Joy Meacham, man, the siblings, trouble in paradise thing, man. I don't know. After a while, it gets kind of annoying. By episode 9, I was like, really, really, you still can't get over these guys. You still, can't just hug it out already. You guys are brother and sister. You're still arguing again. I mean, we're in episode 9, and you're still, I hate you. I hate you. What the hell? How many more episodes do we need to have of this, or tackling this issue? Um, but back to Danny and Colleen, it's interesting to see the arc up for Colleen specifically in this one, because she starts out not wanting to fight anymore. She hangs up her katana. She wants to dedicate um, her career or her life to helping others. And whereas Danny still feels like, oh, I got to protect the city. He still has that responsibility. Whereas she is like, I want to move forward. And when to me, I get the sense, at least the way I take it, is it's as if Colleen is saying, hey, where is this relationship going? We can't just always beat up bad guys every single day. Just like any other relationships out there, they go towards something. I don't know if it's going to be marriage or kids or moving out to a better place, instead of like that small apartment. But I get the sense that she's that kind of girl, at least in the first half of season 2. Of course, in the second half of season 2, when Davos gets more and more powerful, and he gives Danny Rand a hard time even more. Colleen steps up to train Danny, and Colleen, of course, because of her background with the dojo, she's a fantastic teacher, fantastic trainer. So she knows how to press the right buttons to make sure that Danny's fit to fight Davos. Um, so yeah, the big spoiler, of course, spoiler alert, is that at the end, Colleen gets to garner the honor of Iron Fist. She too now has a glowing fist, and it's a white fist. It's interesting, and I love it. I love it. The fight between her and Davos at the end, where the red fist and the white fist kind of meet, boom, and they collide. That is fantastic. I can't get enough of that power where either Danny or Colin will be like punching the ground and everybody just like get everybody fly off because of it. It's like psh. That's awesome. I always like watching that. I always like the visual is great in this one. So that's the big spoiler, of course. A little bit comment before I end this review. The whole thing with Davos training the Lost Boys of New York City. I call them Lost Boys. They're teenagers that homeless teenagers, and he took them under their wing and trying to like teach them, his way, which turns out very corrupt. To me, that goes to show the influence that a cult can have on people. When you can brainwash somebody into thinking like, hey, you got nothing else to lose, so come follow me. And usually the people who are easily persuaded by that are people who are desperate, just like these kids. They got nowhere else to go, they got no money, they got no prospect. Those are the easiest people to be turned into a cult. And I find that to be a very interesting aspect of this season too. And it's not like far-reaching like the hand. It's just basically Davos. It's Davos's ego, all right? Davos' ego is like, oh, I'm the immortal Iron Fist, so it's also my responsibility to bestow my wisdom upon these kids. So it's not that he really cares about them. It's his ego. It's that, as I said earlier, the power is corrupting him. It's getting to his head. So, in conclusion, I want to say this is a pretty solid season 2. There were some flaws about it, flaws that I mentioned earlier. I'm glad, though, that the episodes are shorter. Maybe they can keep it 10 episodes as well for season 3. But just make it a bit, just tighten it up a little bit. Some of the stories don't need to be drawn out as long. All right, some of the arcs don't need to be dragged as long. But overall, at the end, I felt pretty cool, pretty satisfied about it. I like how Danny and Ward are becoming best of friends, even though the best of friends, their style is more of the Odd Couple kind of style. It's like, really, this guy's befriending him, like. So to see that work, it adds sort of comedy to it as well, because they're just two very opposite ends of the spectrum. So to see them working together, collaborating at the end is pretty entertaining. So Danny's now on a mission with Ward out in Asia. Not sure how that's gonna tie into the Defender season 2, if they're gonna have the Defender season 2. Now, are we gonna see Danny Rand come back, or is the Iron Fist gonna be pretty much Colleen? So it's gonna be Colleen, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Luke Cage. Is that gonna be the lead 4 now? I don't know. We'll definitely see. It seems though at the end of this season 2 that Danny Rand, for whatever reason, or how did he get it? I don't know, but he got his glowing fist back. And I love that, his glowing fist and Colleen's glowing fist whenever they activate, they also uh, glow through. They glow through the weapons that they're currently holding, whether it be a gun or a katana. It's fantastic. So I was like, to see the katana glowing bright white, or the gun glowing bright yellow, it's just like cool. I was like, wow, that's new. So yeah, I enjoyed. It's fun to sit through it. If you have 10 hours to spare, 10 hours to sit through this, go ahead, man. Go ahead, binge watch Iron Fist season 2. Last note, and this is a more of a fun side note. I think I mean, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice to have a billionaire friend like Danny Rand, because you don't have to worry about paying your rent. You don't have to worry about skipping, a day work of job. Because in episode 2, there's a moment where Danny Rand had a day off because his boss says, "Hey, the tryouts, it's getting heated up out here. We don't want you to get hurt, or anybody, or any of my employees get hurt during workday. So let's take a day off, everybody." But episode 3 and on, we don't see that job anymore. Moving furniture, because that's Danny's cover. He doesn't like working in the office. He wants to move furnitures. So I was like, oh, that feels nice, right? It feels nice when money is no longer a problem, when money is no longer a headache. You can do what Colleen does. Colleen works at a community center. Come on, let's be real here. Let's be real here. How can you afford a studio apartment in New York City by working at a community center, by working, just moving furniture? You may have to take up another job or a third job. So I just find, that's just my fun side note. It's like, man, it's nice. Because when money's no longer a problem, when rent is already paid for, when you don't have to worry about, oh my God, am I going to get fired? When you don't have to worry about those things, you can just focus on, if you're a good guy, if you have a hero side like Danny Rand, you can just focus on helping people. You can just focus on, fighting bad guys or whatever. You can focus on, volunteering at the community center. So I thought that was a pretty fun side note. Okay, that's it. That's my review of Iron Fist season 2. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, share this video with all your friends on the YouTubeverse, and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can get notification. And please help support this channel. Go to patreon.com/ramascreen. Sign up there today. Become my patrons. $2 per month can go a long way. So please help support this channel. Patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this.